everyone, this is your number one tech Mark here again to bring you another video tutorial. In this video tutorial, we will be going through the selecting a server on a new job all the way up until the edit existing job window. The previous video tutorial got us through the job options, so we just clicked accept on job options and now we are ready to select the server. This is a lookup window. This, you're looking up through every server record that you would have ever entered into PST. If you search for the record and you find it, like so, you could just click on them and then hit accept. If it's a new record, then you're going to have to click on add new, and I'm going to click add new now. And now I would enter in the information of the server that I wanted to put in. The most important part about this window is right here where it says firm or full. Whatever you put in the firm or full section is going to print underneath the signature line on the affidavit. So you want to put the full signature name of this server. And then you can fill in the other information, the mailing address, physical address, phone numbers if you'd like. And also, if you're in a state that has licenses or process server numbers, you would click on licenses. And then right here in the license number section, you can just type in whatever the license number is for this server. If you do not have a license or a process serving number, then you don't have to worry about it because it's not going to apply if you don't. It'll just say process server. When you're finished making whatever changes you want to, you would just go ahead and hit accept. Now this window that came up, this is servers for new job. This is a window that will allow you to add a server on a job, edit the server record that's on a job, or replace the server that's on the job. It also allows you to select from different licenses if there are different licenses depending on maybe the area that the server is serving in. If there's not, then you don't have to worry about that. And it also allows you to input the receive date and the receive time if you have server receive date and time on affidavit enabled. If you don't need to do anything with this window, then you can just hit accept to bypass it. And that brings up the select a case window. This is another lookup window. You'll get pretty familiar with the way that these lookup windows look. You're searching through any case you would have ever entered into PST. If you search for the case and it comes up, then great, you can just hit accept on it. If it's a new case and you've never entered it before, then you're going to click on add new, and I'm going to click add new now. And this brings an add a new case window. We're going to start in the upper left-hand corner where we have state and county. That's the state and the county where the documents were originated. And you're just going to pull those from your documents. And if you just type in the first letter of whatever the county and the state is and press down, it's going to populate for you, and then you can continue to go through them like so. And then you're going to fill in the court, and that's just the type of court that the documents are being served for. If you have, let's just say that it's a civil court, for example, you would just type in the word civil. You don't ever need to type the word court in this field. The word court is always going to automatically print on your affidavits for you, so you don't ever have to type it. The judge, that is optional. If it's known and you want to include it, you can. If it's not, or you just want to omit it, then you can just skip it. The case number, you're just pulling the case number, file number, index number, however it's labeled, and you're putting it in here, whatever it may be. Then you have your department, if that is selected. That is something that is probably only used for California at this time. So if there is a special department, you can put it in. If there's not, then you can skip it. And you'll input your original date filed, and then of course your amended date if this is amended. Moving on to the attorney and client specifics in the middle. You have your attorney for and the field below. This is where you would input your attorney for information. And this section is only used for New York papers. So if this is not a New York paper, then you do not have to worry about this part. Below there, you have client reference number. This is a number that your client would need to provide to you. And a good example is, let's say that they use maybe a different process serving software and they have a different way of labeling their jobs. And they say, hey, we want to give you our reference number, which is 789 for this case. You would input that here. If they do not give you a client reference number for the case, then you would just leave that blank because that's a number that they would need to provide to you anyway. Below there, we have client contact. This section is used if, let's say that you're serving papers for a process serving agency or for a law firm, and there are 5 paralegals at that law firm. If one of those paralegals is the responsible party for this case, you would input their client contact information here, and then they'll be the one that's listed as the primary contact for this case. If there isn't one, or you just don't care to differentiate it, then you can just skip that section as well. And moving on to the upper right corner, we have plaintiff, and then below there you have defendant. You'll notice there are titles in each of these fields. You can click on those. You'll see a list of different titles that we've already preloaded into PST to better suit your documents. If the title is listed and you want to click on it, then great. If it's not listed, then you can just type in whatever title you want. Below there, you have names, parties. That's where you input the names of the parties that are involved accordingly. You would input the plaintiffs in here, you would input the defendants in here, and all of them. And then when you're finished, you can just go ahead and hit accept. Now, there are some browser buttons off to the right. If you click on those, that is going to bring up a select a case window where you're able to search through any plaintiff or defendant that you've ever entered before. The 2 asterisks is a wildcard, and if you wanted to find the estate of Daniel J.G., well, you would just double click on it. It's going to bring up the information. You say yes, and now I have that information here. So you don't have to retype things that you've already done. And then you could, of course, do the same thing for the defendant if you wanted to search for the defendant that you've already used as well. Whenever you're ready, you're going to go ahead and hit accept, and I will do so now. And that brings us to the Add a New Job window, and that is where this video tutorial concludes.